Hey, this is Dr. Michael Tebbe with Bright Star Chiropractic. So today I want to share you guys how to do fermented vegetables. My Anne from Turkey, Sune Yekelar, thank you Anne, she showed me how to do this, and after she showed me I was like, oh, this is really easy, because I wanted to do it and I looked at videos on the internet, but they made it, to me, too complicated. And she's been doing it all through her childhood, and so it was a really easy process. So I'm using cabbage. And this is a mix of carrots, kohlrabi, radish. Basically, root vegetables work. You can pretty much ferment anything. A friend of mine that grew up in the Ukraine, he had pickled watermelon, for example. So for a gallon-sized jar like this, typically you use 4 tablespoons of salt or a 1/4 cup of salt. And you take some of that salt and you put it on top of the cabbage, maybe like a tablespoon, and then you mix it up with your hands until the cabbage starts to release water, and the cabbage will get kind of tender. I'll do a close-up of this so you can see what I'm doing, and you can see how it looks afterwards. So you can see how the cabbage is like kind of wilted now already. It doesn't have that firm because I just cut this. So that's how you know you've done it enough and mixed it with enough salt that it gets really soft and wilted. Okay, so we've mixed the salt with the cabbage, kind of got it wilted. So now you take your clean jar and you start packing this stuff all in. So with fermented vegetables, it's pretty interesting that there's a lot of different health benefits. Like, it helps your gut be healthier because this produces a lot of good probiotics and creates an environment for the unhealthy bacteria in your gut, so they don't like it, so they all leave or get pushed out. There's some videos, information I was listening to that helps the brain, because the better your gut is, the more clear your brain's gonna be. It helps, it's one of the best ways to get vitamin C into your diet, because it's already been like going through this fermentation process, so it absorbs easier. So I've heard a lot of nutrients and minerals absorb easier after being fermented. And now you start, so you pack that in, you really push it down. And then from there, you start adding in your other vegetables on top. And with the rest of the salt, I've poured in some hot water to help dissolve the salt. Just make sure it's not too hot. And I need to add some more stuff. Hey, so I cut up some more cabbage, did the same thing, the purple cabbage here, and then I put the rest of the vegetables in. I put the salt water in. Remember, I took the rest of the salt that I hadn't used to make the cabbage kind of that wilted effect, put it in with hot water. Also, when you're using salt, use a non-iodized salt. And then a good trick is to take the cabbage leaves and, like, as you peel open the cabbage, try to keep that outside leaf intact, and then you put it on top so you keep everything underneath the water. So now we're just going to pour in water to top it all off. Because ideally you want everything to stay underneath the water to keep any mold or anything like that growing on top. I've never had an issue with mold growing on any of the stuff that I fermented before, so I don't think you need to be too concerned about it, but it's a good practice. So take something, whatever you have, like ceramic cup, and then put that in and just loosely put on the lid. Now, one important thing that I had to figure this out the hard way, put this in another like plastic container so it sits in here, because as the fermentation goes, it's going to be bubbling and bubbling, so water is going to come out of this thing. Not a lot, but a little bit, and it'll like wreck a cabinet if it's inside there. So yeah, then just go a bottom drawer or cabinet in your kitchen is the ideal place, and just leave it in there in the dark. Temperature range is like 60 to 75 degrees, which most people's house kind of stays in that temperature range anyways. And you can leave it for a week, 2 weeks. You can leave it longer if you want. But you'll know after like a few days, it's going to start being bubbly. And the longer you leave it, just the more sour tasting it's going to become. So yeah, enjoy this. And then what do you use it for? You can just eat it with like other food. You can put it on top of a salad. If you steam kale, you can put this on top of kale, because it gives everything else a nice flavor, because there's a lot of salt in here. So it's going to give flavor to everything else that you eat it with. Plus you're getting all the good benefits of eating the fermented vegetables. So enjoy this. I hope this makes this process easy for you. This is a good time since this is coronavirus time, so everybody's inside the house right now. So these are good little projects to work on. Okay, enjoy. Again, I'm Dr. Michael Tebbe with Bright Star Chiropractic. Okay, here's the final product. One, this is why you keep it in the container, because it will leak water. Well, you'll know it's ready is because when you shake it, you'll see little bubbles start happening. Yeah, you can see those bubbles. And then you'll smell it, and it smells fermented. You'll know what it smells like. And that's when it's ready. And then you can store it in the refrigerator and eat it as needed.